I want to bring your attention to this book. There's a couple like it, like the series Weird Ohio, which has a lot of interesting kind of legends and so on. But this book, Lost Ohio, Randy McNutt, I picked it up at the Bowling Green State University Library a couple weeks ago, and actually just started looking through it a little bit last night. And it features basically travels into haunted landscapes, ghost towns, and forgotten lives. And I haven't really done anything like this before, but there were some passages that really kind of stuck with me. And I want to read a couple of them, because I'm sure they would probably relate to you guys as well. This is in the introduction to the book, and it's near the end. I just want to read this couple paragraphs here near the end. I think they're interesting. This girl walking by the car going across the tracks. She's like, is he talking to his camera? Or is the car on? Yeah, well, 2 for 2. Whatever. So he says this, talking about disappearing old towns, you know, a lot of history that's kind of disappearing. I saw it all across the land. While driving along busy U.S. Route 35 in the Greene County city of Beaver Creek, I passed strip malls and apartments. I wondered if local people knew that they lived near Pantsdown, a notorious woods known in the late 1800s for its large number of robberies. On Dayton Xenia Road, near a ghost town called Morsetta, groups of unsavory drifters routinely grabbed travelers and stole their wallets and pants, thus assuring themselves that no victims would go looking for the police until nightfall. Such tales are disappearing now in a state in transition. I go on the road for a few days, return home to write, file chapters in manila folders, and head out again to see more towns and people. In cold type, no one ever moves away. No one ages, no one dies, but in reality a number of kind people have passed. Sometimes I return to town so many times that I have to compress my visits for the story to make sense. Out there on black asphalt ribbons, deep in the heart of nowhere, I watch the images of towns and people grow smaller in my rearview mirror and finally fade to nothing. I feel at one with the speeding tires and the motion of the Jeep. In the cold rush of air on my sides, sometimes the movement seems strange, yet vaguely familiar, as though it possesses a soul I once met but can't quite remember. Back home in the solitude of my mother's house, I sit and watch the snowdrift as high as the back fence and begin to understand. Those slowly disappearing images I saw in my car mirror and the blurry objects on the side of the highway were not solely optical events after all. They were fragments of time rushing past me, quickly and almost imperceptibly. I do not know where they went. In another passage in the book, Randy is talking about a small town in southern Ohio called Fizzleville, and the last paragraph in this chapter I think really says a lot, and it kind of connects for sure to a lot of what's going on. As I drove out of town, leaving the little general store far behind, I thought of its precarious state and wondered how long it would survive in a world that is too expensive and too small these days. I felt the potential loss of something gentle and good. To me, the store is a symbol of an Ohio that is becoming increasingly forgotten, even lost, and we don't even have the time to notice its passing. And finally, this portion of the book is about Wood County and its travels in the Great Black Swamp. He was in Wood County. His wife actually graduated from Bowling Green State University, which is interesting. They went into the historical archives in the library and found a lot of information about, you know, some small towns in the local area that have just kind of dissolved. And he writes here, reasoning why some of these like small towns disbanded, some people who were basically, you know, prominent members of the town, and how these, you know, These folks are just kind of fading into history. But he says, leaving Wood County and heading south, I noticed that from all directions in the former swamp, the horizon is flat. A writer from a 1960s Ohio almanac claimed that a headlight on a Great Defiance can be seen in Antwerp more than 20 miles away. When mist covers the fields and sunlight reflects on the dew, the landscape unfolds toward the horizon like a green carpet. Ohio's last frontier is now cornfield after cornfield, a place where 4-H clubs and Future Farmers of America are still hip. County fairs are the biggest events of the year, and programs like Farm Focus beckons farmers to sit on the latest tractors and try on red polyester baseball caps with yellow seed emblems. Roaming farther into northwestern Ohio, I saw narrow country roads crisscross the horizon like grids, intersecting US Route 127 and disappearing into walls of corn. The fields swelled with corn, soybeans, and wheat. Big green and red combines looked like oversized beetles rummaging through rows of corn stalks. When the cars turned off the highway, all I could see was their tops moving, as if they were rolling directly through the fields. Out there in the country, I imagined silver-topped silos as missiles poking through the morning fog. I pulled over and parked and watched the sunset. Everything around me was flat and alive. The sun was splashing streaks of orange across the charcoal sky. Sitting there in the Jeep, I imagined the ghosts of ancient trees standing in the swamp world below. Vanished now, forever gone. It's a fantastic book, very interesting stuff. And there's a lot of different components. Lost Ohio. Forgotten Lives, very interesting key component. Those are some of the things that stood out to me. And it's so true. It's a pretty good book. I didn't obviously read the whole thing. I just kind of went through some select passages that caught my attention and thought I would read them to you guys. So I appreciate you watching, and have a good one. Later.